The man who moves mountains begins by carrying away small stones. Confucius. My friends, just a little bit of effort every day and you will be moving that mountain. 10 to 15 minutes, that is all we ask. Learn what we teach here, practice trade, see how it works for you. Now let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are a little mixed. The S&P 500 up a little, NASDAQ 100 down a little, bonds down, gold down, Bitcoin up some. Let's see what we have here. Nothing has changed as far as our numbers go on our success multiplier formula. Still negative 15 on the S&P 500, even though it was up 0.28%. We can see where things have sort of, bottomed a little bit in the short term, hanging out there just around that, what is that level? About 419.60 something. Just hanging out about there. Is that going to be our low for the time being? Don't know. I can just tell you there's a lot of weight pushing things down. We see that on the half-day chart. We look at that 2-day chart, just a hammering on down, touching that 200 EMA. Of course, it's already penetrated it on the half-day. And we look at the weekly, and where are we? There we are. We're still above the 200, but again, heading down. So that is where we are with the S&P 500. We'll go back to the half day, start with the NASDAQ 100 on that half day. And again, about the same, sort of slowing down right there at about the 319 rather level. Again, again, you will see the market drop and then sort of level out, maybe bump up a little bit, drop some, then level out, bump up a little bit. And then, of course, you'll see these just, waterfalls of price where they just hammer down. And of course, on that last one where we penetrated the 200 EMA, that was a great opportunity for jumping in. But, we have to have these opportunities. That's what's wonderful about those pullbacks, is they give us opportunities to jump in to either down or up moves. And of course, the NASDAQ 100 still at a negative 15, down for the day 0.12%. We look at the 2-day, of course, it's rocketing down, has already pushed through the 200 EMA on that particular chart. And of course, we look at the weekly, and you can see heading down toward that 200. So lots of downward pressure on the NASDAQ 100 also. Let's check out where we are on bonds. We look at the half-day chart, and of course, you can see that bonds have seen lots of down movement. And here over the last few days, sort of cycling sideways, trying to pull up a little bit. But again, a decent-sized down day, 1.28%. Now, check out that minus 1.4. What does that tell us? Tells us we got 10 down points because the weekly chart is headed down, the big kahuna. And what about the 2-day? Well, it's a 14, so that tells us that also, and when I say down, I'm looking at the STC. We do see a little bit of we see a green candle, a solid green. Now, what is that? Again, that's showing us that we've got some up movement there with a wick on top. But again, we'll continue to watch and pay attention, particularly to the STC, and we look at the half day. And of course, pay attention to this because with that down movement throughout the day being down 1.28%, what do we see slowly happening here? We might see, again, things cross over heading down on the STC, which would give us a chance to short TLT, 20-year bonds. And you can do that either with puts or you can practice trade with TBF. What is that? That's the single short for TLT, for 20-year bonds. Again, it's set up by the people who manage it to match percentage to percentage. When the TLT, the 20-year bond, goes down, TBF goes up 1%. Down 1%, up 1%, and the opposite. So keep that in mind. You might practice trade that. watch this particular bond fund and see if indeed it gives you a potential for a trading opportunity. You have the big wave and the intermediate wave working for you. So keep that in mind. Of course, go and backtrack, see how well it's worked in the past. And again, track, trade, and learn. And again, practice trading. We're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We want you to practice with us. Let's go to gold. What do we see there? I don't like seeing this. Gold is crossing over, of course, penetrating the 200 EMA, which again gets us into just more and more negative territory. I like gold when it's going up. It was so good to us on this last practice trade on gold over the course of just a few days, rocketing up quite nicely. But of course, we look at gold right now, a zero. Now that it's crossing over, going down, we'll pay attention to that also. We look at the 2-day, of course, that means it's going down, and the weekly just now reverted over the course of this last week, reverting over, going down. So as we cross that, we actually go from a 0 to a what? Well, we go to a minus 15. Now, if we have a bump up and things cross back over going up, so we'll hold off marking it a negative 15 because there's really no opportunity to jump in right now because we're all red and have been red since going back to the 19th of April. So down 0.76%. It was down $1.34 on our ETF for the day. Now, lastly, we'll check out what's going on with Bitcoin. And of course, we will use XBTF, the Van Eck Bitcoin Strategy ETF. It's a short-term futures. And what do we see going on there? Bitcoin was up for the day 2.30%. XBT, if we look at just the price of Bitcoin on the 24-hour exchange, up 2.91%. So pretty close. And again, as I keep telling you guys, the reason I practice trade and real money trade on my own on XBTF is because it's the lowest of the 3 approved ETFs for Bitcoin futures as far as management fees go. And I like it because I can buy it on stock exchanges. You know, I can buy it with my online broker with no fees. Now, again, there are fees, management fees, but you don't get charged those buying and selling, getting in and getting out, like you do on some of those crypto exchanges where some have quite hefty fees. But as we take a look at what's going on, we just sort of see the price, again, pretty much to dojis throughout the course of the day. Again, up 2.30%, but didn't change anything on the STC. That is on the half day. We look at the 2-day, it is just rocketing down. And we look at the weekly and, of course, hammer down on that also. So no opportunity in Bitcoin except to stay away, live to trade another day. That is where we are, folks. We love to hear from you. Hope that you're enjoying some of these new things we have been teaching you. Getting ready to produce my Charting Crypto for, of course, our Patreon friends. If you're not a Patreon friend, please consider supporting us. We have a lot of expenses here. Putting the bandwidth together, we've got the texting service, we've got the webmaster. We just got all sorts of stuff that we do for you, and we would appreciate you supporting us. God bless from everybody here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.